Soul Family. Okay, Caitlin again. So, thank you for being here. I just wanted to share something that really came to me heavily last night. And it was the idea of abundance, right? And I was thinking about how in this world, how when people have children, right, we're often taught to stress, right? To stress about finances and, oh, how am I going to afford this? Look, now we have more responsibilities with this child. It's going to cost more, right? As if we're brought into a circumstance of more lack when we have more mouths to feed, right? And what came to me was the spirit eyes, right? So the inversion of that reality, which is to say that actually, when we have more mouths to feed, inherently there is more abundance that will come in from the universe. We're invoking more abundance. It's just the law of nature. You see it with the animals, right? You might be saying, well, Caitlin, what about starvation? What about their kids starving in Gaza and all this? Remember, that is man-made, right? There's human interference. But if we can kind of just see past the circumstances as we know it, okay? In places where there is quote unquote proof of lack, okay? Think about before the interference of man, okay? Of civilization, if you will. When we're born into a family, the child's taken care of, right, innately. It's like everyone will make sure that what's the instinct of the family is to take care of that child, right? That's the natural instinct, is to take care of that child. You know what? And I was just thinking about, like, you know what, this isn't logical, by the way. So what I often share on this channel, it's not logical. So it's not something to grasp with your logical mind. Like, these are spiritual teachings, and I'm just sharing what comes through to me, because someone else might grab it. So if you're trying to make sense of it logically, it most likely won't make sense. So yeah, I'm realizing, like, I don't have to keep trying to make it sound logical, because it's not. So I'll just share what came to me. So I was kind of positioning myself. I was remembering that when we come into this world, all our needs are already met. It's just the illusion, the conditioning that tells us otherwise, right? So when a baby comes into this world, when we're an infant, we don't know anything. We don't know that there's bills to pay. We don't know that there's obligations. We don't know that there's lack, right? Because there isn't. None of those things actually exist. And I was just thinking about childlike faith, and I was thinking about how, the illusion is that money pays for things, that money is our provision. But remember what Jesus said, you cannot serve both God and money. You cannot serve both God and money. And so in our spiritual journeys, especially after spiritual awakening, we're faced with something. We'll notice, maybe you've already been experiencing this, right? It seems like maybe your financial sources have been crumbling. Your wells have dried up, so to speak, right? Because you're now being initiated into abundance, to remember the truth of how everything operates, to remember that you are abundance and that you are source, right? Just as Jesus pulled coins from the fish, the mouth of the fish, to pay taxes. I don't know if you've ever heard the story. Ram Dass talked about this guru who would pay his, I don't know if it was paid his followers or his devotees, or if he had laborers for a project, but he would materialize gold and tell his devotees, your money will be under this rock on your way home, and they would just like find it. And that is the power we all have if we do the work. But even if we don't go to that point and materialize money like that, we can still, by faith, call money in and always be provided for, because we are innately. This is what Florence Scovel Shinn taught, okay? And in the same way on my videos, if you've heard me talk about, understanding the shifts inside and witnessing what's inside you to know when it's time to go all in or something, when it's time to change direction, regardless of outer appearances, right? So even if things haven't quite lined up in the physical linearly, right, regarding starting a new career or moving somewhere, right, you know when it's time to start in that direction, right? We don't wait on the physical to direct us anymore. Instead, we wait for shifts within. We observe our shifts within, and we begin to lead the outer world to follow our shifts, right? Make sense? So we're like pilots now, And so the truth is, faith is our provision. When money stops being our God, when money becomes our servant, when money is just another frequency, because everything is vibration, and everything in this material world is actually immaterial, right? Created from the invisible plane. We know that, money's just the same thing, right? And we've just been conditioned so hard throughout our lifetimes to think that money is a savior or money is outside of us. But when we start recognizing that money is us and money is a frequency and I am wealth and I am abundance, it's like, I don't really need money then, right? Because money is always coming to me inherently. Like, it's just who I am. I don't need to work for money anymore. I don't need to earn money. Money's not outside of me. It's not my God anymore. So if you're reaching that point, congratulations. And money can come in all different ways, right? We're no longer victims of linear time because we understand that time does not exist. And so we'll draw opportunities to us that, sure, we'll quote unquote receive money for our labor or something. But even that's the illusion, right? It's all just a frequency match. Money's just matching. You're in the frequency of money, right? So I guess what I'm saying is, it really helped me to really put on the spirit eyes, if you will, of childlike faith. Imagining myself like, when we come in to the world as babies, once we spiritually awaken, it's like we're coming into the world as babies again, right? Where we're choosing to kind of ignore the meanings that we have been told to give to things, right? And instead we can put our own meanings on things. And then we determine then what comes to us, right? So, yeah, I guess the final thing I'll share is, and this is, I was able to see the inversion of how we have been taught to think that because we were a baby, because we were helpless, we were taken care of by our parents, we were taken care of by family members, we were provided for. But the Spirit says it's not that we were helpless, it's that we were abundance coming into the world. We actually brought more blessings. We actually brought more wealth. We brought more provision because of our innocence. Do you see what I'm saying? And I was thinking about how the government rewards people for having kids, and I was like, it actually kind of makes sense. Like, we're taught that people are incentivized to have more kids, right? Brings the economy more money and everything. But if you look at it from a spiritual perspective, if it is true, spiritually that no, kids invoke more abundance, kids invoke more blessings, children, more mouths to feed, invoke more to come in. It would also make sense in that way where, right, the people who have children are rewarded because you're bringing more to come in universally to the country, to the nation, to the economy, right? So it's not that we're helpless that we were taken care of. It's not that, oh, we couldn't work and so of course we were given money, of course we were provided for. No, the truth is it's our innocence and our abundance that draws this provision in. You see? So it's learning to see things like that from a perspective of taking off the mask of the physical that says, well, the logical, well, it only happened because of this, it was only this way because of that. No. If we can learn to invert the physical realm into the eyes of the spiritual, which it's not by force, it's kind of a soft knowing that comes over us, right? We can really see the truth of everything. But I guess that's what the crown and third eye chakras are for. So I just wanted to share that because this might speak to people. But when I was able to really see that, it really softened the harshness of living, right? It softened the harshness of thinking that we have to survive and that we have to still earn everything. When the truth is the universe is already giving us everything. We are the universe. Everything's already just being given to us, and we're a baby. We're in such a receptive state, right? And so it's learning to be that infantile again, learning to be in such a receptive state where all things flow to us and through us. So that's abundance, that's wealth, that is what we're made to experience, especially as spiritual beings on this physical plane. So, wow, I hope this helped someone, and I would love to hear your comments, and I'll see you next time.